I lost 50 pounds in 4 months, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is what exactly did you eat to lose weight that fast? Well, in this video, I'm gonna show you the foods I actually ate, but more importantly, I'm gonna show you why the foods themselves don't actually matter. And on top of that, I'm gonna coach you through 3 simple steps to show you how to build a meal plan like this for yourself so you can eat almost anything you want and still lose weight. Now, you might expect me to tell you that my meal plan looked something like this, but it actually looked more like this because there is no magic fat loss food. Food isn't good or bad for fat loss. Food is just numbers. And when I say numbers, I don't mean something like Weight Watchers where food gets good points or bad points. I literally just mean like numbers. Calories, protein, carbs, fat, all of those are they're just numbers. So once you start looking at food this way, dieting becomes way simpler because instead of thinking, I can't have that because I heard it's bad for you from some research paper or some influencer, you just start thinking, does this fit my numbers? And this level of structure removes the emotion/moral choices from food and focuses on what actually matters. So here's how you can set this up for yourself. So the first thing you need are your numbers. You need your calories and you need your protein, carbs, and fat. Now, I'm gonna assume you already know how to do a calorie deficit like the normal way. And if you don't, you can use a free calculator like tdeecalculator.net. You can get a good starting point on your calorie deficit. Inside my program, I actually simplify this so you can just pick slow, medium, or fast fat loss, and it automatically sets the starting deficit for you. But that first number is important. But regardless of how you end up getting this, the important thing is this. You start with the numbers first because those numbers are what decide what your meals are going to look like. Okay, so once you have your numbers, the next step is turning those numbers into meals. But before we do that, this is where a lot of people mess up. Most people diet by tracking food as they go along throughout the day. So they eat something, they log it. They eat something else, they log that. And before they know it, they've burned through most of their calories early in the day and still haven't hit their numbers. And I know this because I used to do the exact same thing. So instead of tracking food one by one as you go along, you want to structure your meals first. And this is what I call meal windows. So instead of freestyling food all day, you decide ahead of time how many times in the day you're going to eat. And just be consistent with this. But instead of worrying about meal timing or how much protein can you consume in one sitting, forget all that. I only want you to worry about 2 things: your schedule and your appetite. Your schedule, the reason should be obvious: work, family, kids, all of that determines when you actually can sit down to eat something. But appetite matters too, because some people can easily eat 1,000 calories in one sitting. Others will get full after a few hundred. And in the simplest terms, that basically tells you, when do I have the chance to eat and how much can I eat when I get that chance? So for example, if you have a busy schedule and a big appetite like me, you might only eat 2 to 3 meals a day. If you have a smaller appetite, you might have to split your food into 3 to 5 meals in the day. The key is just deciding the structure ahead of time, so you're not guessing. Because trying to hit all your macros in one meal usually doesn't work. You're gonna get full before you get close. And trying to track your food randomly throughout the day is kind of annoying, and it's usually a big part of why people don't do it. So once you know how many eating windows you have, the next step is simple. You just divide your daily number target across those meal windows. For example, let's say your daily target is something like 2,000 calories, 200 grams of protein, 200 grams of carbs, and 60 grams of fat. And let's say you decide to eat 2 meals in a day. So all you have to do is divide those numbers by 2. So each meal would be roughly 1,000 calories, 100 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, and 30 grams of fat. So now every time you sit down to eat, in the opportunity that you have to eat, you know more or less what your macros should look like. Should is important. We're gonna get to that. So once you know your meal windows and the macros for those windows, the next step is the part that everyone actually cares about: turning those numbers into real food. Okay. Now, I wanna be honest. If you don't know basic nutrition or just how food in general works, this part can get a little bit complicated, because one thing I've noticed is a lot of people guess based off of the whole moral thing. This is good, this is bad for you, and that's how they design meals. Don't do that. Other people like to use ChatGPT, and it's okay, but it's not gonna save you, because I've tried it. It actually messes up a lot. So I'm gonna show you how I keep this simple. I build every meal just using 3 things: a protein, a carb, and a fat. And then I go to my Fitness Pal and adjust the portion size, like the grams, until the meal matches the numbers that I need or gets close. Because without going on a tangent, it's kind of hard to get them to line up perfectly. But if my meal needs 100 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, 30 grams of fat, I just pick a protein, a carb, and a fat that get me to that macro goal and just build the meal like that. Also, I'm not a chef, so this is where your cooking skills either help you or limit you. But one thing you can also do is just pick proteins, carbs, and fats that are easy to cook, like potatoes you can microwave or pre-cooked chicken from the refrigerated section in the grocery store. Now, the annoying part is when I first started doing this, I had to do everything by paper. And I was just constantly checking macros, adjusting portions, writing meals down, and trying to remember which foods worked well together. So over time, I started building tools that made this entire process from beginning to end just much simpler. So the first thing I made was a fat loss food cheat sheet. So instead of guessing foods every time, I could quickly just pick a protein, carb, and fat from a list of foods that had the best macros. And then I created a meal generator tool. So this is basically a custom GPT where you just give it your calories, macros, and whether you want it to be high volume or not, and it generates 3 meal ideas that help you get close to your numbers. It cuts out all the glazing ChatGPT does and just gets straight to the point. Also, it's just a little bit more accurate, I've noticed, when comparing it with just using a regular ChatGPT and the custom GPT. That one is a little bit better just because it also works off of the fat loss food cheat sheet. And the third thing I built was a recipe book and meal planner. And this is where I started collecting meals that I already knew worked well for my macros so I could quickly just build a full day of eating without having to think. And eventually, I built all of this directly into the program so everything just lives in one place. But regardless of whether you use my tools or not, the process stays the same. You pick a protein, you pick a carb, you pick a fat, you go on my Fitness Pal, you adjust the grams and match the numbers to your eating window and the macros inside of that window. So now, what exactly did I eat? The easiest way to understand this is to think of my meals in 3 groups. Green is clean meals, yellow is healthy junk food, and red is straight up junk food. So clean meals were the simple ones that hit my macros perfectly. So this is something like egg whites with oatmeal, blueberries, and butter. Very simple. It's literally a protein, a carb, and a fat. These meals were boring, but they made hitting my numbers really easy because it's literally just plug in a protein, a fat, and a carb. Very simple. Then there were meals that were a little bit more indulgent, but didn't really help hit my macros. They were still high protein and low calorie, and that's really what mattered the most in these particular meals. So for example, I figured out a way to make a Taco Bell loaded griller more macro friendly. And when I wanted to take a break from the boring food, but still needed something high protein, I just have that. And sometimes I just wanted like just straight up just junk food. I wanted Burger King, I wanted McDonald's, I wanted pizza. And the way I made it fit was simple. If the macros didn't line up perfectly, which 9 times out of 10 they're not, I just focus on staying within the calories of that meal block. Because at the end of the day, the calorie deficit is what drives the fat loss. And if you actually want to see what these meals look like in real life, I've actually been quietly rolling out YouTube shorts showing the exact meals I was eating while losing weight. And they're also attached to the meal planner that lives inside of the program. But one thing I've noticed over time is that people obsess way too much over the specific foods. They want to know the exact meal plan, foods that I should be eating to lose fat. But the thing that actually determines whether your diet works or not isn't the food, it's your life, your schedule, your appetite, even things like your ethnicity or your nationality. All of those things influence what your meals are going to look like, which means your meals are probably going to look different from mine, and that's exactly why the numbers matter. Because the food might change, but the numbers won't. However, there is one thing that actually can mess all of this up and will probably end up getting in your way, and that is hunger. So if you want to see the strategy I use to crush hunger, even while cutting 1,000 calories a day, make sure to check out this video right here.